Welcome. We've got some thrilling Arsenal news lined up for you, so stay tuned until the end to catch all the latest updates. And don't forget to leave 300 likes to keep us motivated in bringing you the latest Arsenal updates. The North London derby is absolutely buzzing this weekend. Proper cauldron at the Emirates, red scarves out, pints flowing, and the usual glorious slanging match between Gunas and Yids already in full swing. Arsenal are still sitting pretty at the top, but they've been battered by the international break. Gabriel's cropped his thigh for Brazil, Calafiori's hip is giving him jip, Gioca's is out, and half the treatment room looks like a MASH unit. Arteta's having to patch together a backline with kids like Mosquera and Miles Lewis-Skelly, but the midfield's still a monster. Rice, Zubimendi, Ease, and Sokka's ready to tear Spurs a new one on the right. Havertz, Majuk, and Martinelli might even make the bench, which would be a massive shot in the arm. The Gunners have won the last 3 derbies without reply and haven't lost at home since Noah was a lad. They'll fancy extending that record even with the walking wounded. Across the way, Thomas Frank Spurs roll up with a few plaster casts of their own, but they've got Vicario in goal, Romero and Van de Ven looking like proper units at the back, and Mohamed Kudus back fit and ready to do Arsenal on the counter. Richarlison will lead the line like a man possessed, or at least until he dives, while Solanke could be back on the bench for the first time since his ankle went pop. It's scrappy, it's frantic, it's got first red card written all over it, and the Emirates will be bouncing from the first whistle. Predicted lineups say Arsenal shade it on paper, but derbies don't do on paper. Strap in, crack open a cold one, and get ready for 90 minutes of pure North London chaos. Come on you Gunners, or so us if you're that way inclined. Either way, the pubs are going to be rammed till closing time. Mikel Arteta speaks out about Arsenal squad to stand up after international break hammer blows. Arsenal have been dealt a brutal hand during the November international break, with a string of key players picking up injuries that have left Mikel Arteta scratching his head ahead of a crunch run of fixtures. The Gunners' boss is now looking for the rest of his squad to roll their sleeves up and fill the void, starting with the small matter of the North London derby against Tottenham Hotspur. The biggest concern is Gabriel Magalhaes, who returned from Brazil duty with a thigh problem that is set to sideline him for several weeks. Further scans are booked for next Wednesday to confirm the exact timescale, but the towering centre-back's absence is a massive miss not just for his defending, but for the leadership he brings to the backline. Riccardo Calafiori is another doubt after aggravating a hip issue. The Italian summer signing never even trained during the break and was sent home early from international duty. Arteta admitted the 22-year-old has been carrying the knock for a while and the medical team are working flat out to get him fit. Up front the situation is scarcely better. Martin Odegaard, Victor Gyokas, Noni Majuk, Gabriel Martinelli and Kai Havertz are all in various stages of recovery, while Ben White has been trying to rediscover his sharpness after a difficult spell. It means Arteta will have to dig deep into his squad if Arsenal are to keep pace at the top of the Premier League. Speaking ahead of the Tottenham clash, Mikel Arteta said, "The lads have made fantastic progress this season in how they're adapting to what we're asking of them, and I'm confident they're ready to go to Spurs with even more fight." The individual development we're seeing, especially from the younger players, is going to be crucial in a derby where every single detail can decide the game. Arteta remains adamant that squad depth is one of Arsenal's biggest strengths. Losing Gabby is a proper blow because he's a leader at the back for us. But the positive is we've got good options. We have to get on with it now and get the job done. Every player brings something specific and we have to spread that belief. People will step up, they've done it time and again before. On Calafiori, the manager added, "Ricardo wasn't available over the break, he was carrying a few issues and we had to bring him back. He hasn't trained yet. We've got one more session and we'll see how he is. He's been managing a small problem play a bit, rest him to take the load off, and when he had to travel with Italy they were very understanding." Ben White also earned praise from his boss. "I think Ben is in a better moment now. We pick players based on the opponent, the game, the best combination we can find. He just has to keep training well and wait for his chance because it will come. He has to prove it like everyone else, that's the challenge." Jurriën has been outstanding this season as well. We know the level Ben can reach and how big he is for the team. With the derby looming, Arteta insists the focus is purely on getting bodies back and hitting the ground running against their bitter rivals. Arsenal showed last season they can cope without Gabriel for long spells, and the Spaniard is banking on a similar collective effort to come through the current storm and keep their title challenge on track. Arteta must bin EZE and unleash Arsenal's Odegaard, the lad who's very similar to Bergkamp. Blimey, the North London derby's looming like a proper storm cloud over the Emirates, and Mikel Arteta's got some proper head-scratching to do with his midfield setup. Arsenal are perched at the top of the pile, but with Tottenham sniffing around for a scrap, every decision feels like it's got the weight of a full English breakfast on it. The chatter down the pub, and on every Arsenal fan forum worth its salt, is all about whether Eberechi deserves to keep his spot in the starting 11. Talented as the chap is, with his silky dribbles and moments of pure wizardry, he's not quite hit the heights since pulling on the red and white. Arteta's got a golden opportunity to tweak things, and the fans are baying for a bit of that classic Gunners flair to see off the lily whites. Now, don't get me wrong, is an absolute perler of a player, the sort who'd have the Crystal Palace lot weeping into their pints when he legged it to North London. He's chipped in with 2 goals and 3 assists already this term, which ain't half bad for a fella settling into a new squad. But let's call a spade a spade. In the last 6 league games, he's mustered just the 1 goal involvement, and there have been patches where he's vanished faster than a Spurs title challenge. It's not that he's phoning it in, mind, it's more that in a derby as frantic as this one, you need someone who doesn't just sparkle now and then, but keeps the engine room ticking over like a well-oiled Morris Minor. The rub of it is, last season you could have shuffled out to the left flank and let him terrorize fullbacks till kingdom come. But not this time around. Leandro Trossard's been on a proper hot streak, rolling back the years like his nicked Thierry Henry's boots. 8 goal involvements already, including 3 in the last 4 league jaunts, and the Belgian's undroppable as a result. He's hugging that left touchline like it's his local, cutting in and causing absolute bedlam. So, with Trossard locked in, E's best bet might be warming the bench, ready to trot on late doors and unleash a bit of that Selhurst Park sorcery when Spurs are gasping for air. Enter stage left, Martin Odegaard, the Norwegian skipper who's got the Emirates faithful chanting his name like it's a hymn at Highbury. Assuming the lad's patched up from his recent knock, and Arteta's been playing coy in the presser, which usually means he's got a sly grin up his sleeve, Odegaard should be straight back in the heart of it. The gaffer's got form for this, yanking players off the physio's table and into the fray without a backward glance. In a match as heated as this derby, where the banter's thicker than London fog and every tackle's got VAR twitching, you need a captain who can steady the ship. Odegaard brings that metronomic control to the midfield that E's, for all his bells and whistles, just can't match. He's not just about the fancy footwork. The chap leads the press like a terrier after a rat, snapping at heels and turning over possession before Spurs can even dream of a counter. And when it comes to threading the needle, Odegaard's got a wand of a right boot, those sensationally weighted passes that drop right in behind the backline, leaving defenders flat-footed and strikers grinning like Cheshire cats. It was only before his injury that he started pinging them in again, and against Tottenham's leaky rearguard, that could be the difference between a gritty win and a proper nail-biter. What really sets Odegaard apart, though, is that sixth sense for the game, spotting a half gap before it's even yawned open and acting on it with ice in his veins. It's the sort of vision that had Ray Parlour, that old Invincible's war horse, piping up on the telly to say the Norwegian's very similar to the one and only Dennis Bergkamp. Now, steady on, Odegaard's not quite the non-flying Dutchman yet, the bloke who turned Highbury into his personal canvas with flicks and finishes that still have us gooners misty-eyed over our morning cuppa. But that shared gift for the exquisite, the ability to make the impossible look like a doddle? It's there, bubbling under the surface, and Arteta knows it better than most. Let's not forget the numbers, eh? Odegaard's been a proper talisman since rocking up from Real Madrid scrap heap. In 205 appearances for the Gunners, he's clocked 177 starts and nigh on 15,600 minutes, bagging 41 goals and 40 assists along the way. That's a goal involvement every 0.39 matches, or roughly every 193 minutes. Not shabby for a midfielder who's more conductor than goal poacher. Even in that ropey campaign last term, when the wheels were wobbling, he still rustled up 81 direct hits in total. It's the sort of record that screams unleash me in a derby where every second counts, and with Soccer and Trossard primed to run riot out wide, Odegaard's the glue that could turn good chances into proper screamers. Mind you, this ain't about slagging off E's, the lad's got magic in his boots that could light up the Thames on bonfire night. But in a scrap like this, with the Emirates bouncing and 60,000 voices roaring for blood, you need reliability as much as razzle-dazzle. Dropping him to the bench isn't binning him for good. It's tactical nous, giving him fresh legs to bamboozle a tiring Spurs backline come the hour mark. Arteta's built this Arsenal side on smart rotations and that unyielding belief in the collective, and Odegaard embodies it. The skipper who drags his mates over the line, Bergkamp style, with poise and precision. So, there you have it, Arteta, for the love of all things red and white, axe ease for the derby and let Odegaard loose like the Scandi Bergkamp he is. It'll add that extra layer of control, unlock the press, and maybe even silence the Yids lot for another year. The Emirates will be a cauldron, the scarves waving like it's 0-4 all over again, and with Odegaard pulling strings, Arsenal could nick another 3 points to keep the title dream trundling along. Come on you Gunners, let's make this one a proper classic. Thanks for watching Arsenal Time. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to like, share, and leave a comment below. Continue following the Gunners' journey with us, and see you in the next video. Come on, you Gunners!